Hello, Smack Happy Design blog readers. My name is John Hjartberg, and I'm doing a guest blog entry for Nicole Hanusek, who runs Smack Happy Designs, and I'm very happy to do it. I'll jump right into it. This is a presentation that I gave at a BNI meeting a few weeks ago. It runs about 10 minutes, maybe just a little bit more. It's not going to be encyclopedic, but we will be doing more short videos that you'll see on Nicole's blog. Content marketing. It's the buzzword of the moment, and it's sort of like the weather, to paraphrase it. Everybody's talking about it, but what exactly is it? I think it's important for anyone to understand content marketing if you're trying to get the word out about your business, even your team or division. So it starts with a story from my past. I was brought in a few years ago to a financial information company. It had bought a very sophisticated market analysis and predictive engine. It had bought a little company that had done this. They paid $5 million for it. As happens with acquisitions, sometimes the business had atrophied down to about $500,000 in annual revenue. And it had a staff of 10. It had offices all over the place. It was losing money big time. And it was being marketed aggressively. They were spending money on marketing, but it wasn't having the impact that they wanted. I came in and we saw it as our task to rethink the entire business. The aggressive marketing, come to us, we're better, we're lower priced, we have this great product, just wasn't doing the trick. For those of you who don't know anything about financial information, don't worry, but it's a very, very competitive market, and it's very difficult to show where you have an edge. So we decided to take a completely different tack focused on content. Now, this is a few years ago. It's before content marketing became a buzzword, so we didn't call it that. But we reasoned with this product that a new approach might be successful, and it was focused on teaching. We were going to build a new department that would teach our market, our target market, individual by individual, how they could succeed using the product. And then we would stay with them after the sale. Our solution was to create a constellation or a network of content and support. We had classes, live and online classes. The internet makes it very cheap to do that. We had mentoring. We would do one-on-one and small group mentoring. Again, most of it done online. So our experts were sitting in the office in a cubicle next to me. We published books. We published white papers. We put out lots of online resources. We even published a physical book, if you can believe that, and gave it away as part of our content marketing, or what we called our content strategy. And then we continued to build a library of evergreen online videos that users and prospects and subscribers could go to anytime and engage with us. And we did almost zero active quote-unquote selling. And I'll explain that a little bit more. So here's one of the experts that we hired. He gave me his permission to use his picture. And this is a great picture because this is Ernest, but you can see how complex this software is. This looks like essentially a Bloomberg terminal that you'd see at Credit Suisse or on a trading floor of a big bank. And this is what we were marketing and selling. So it's extremely sophisticated. It's actually quite good software, but very sophisticated, complex, with many nuances. And you couldn't just sell it. It was an expensive product. It was $4,000. You couldn't just sell it, have somebody come download it or open the shrink wrap and install it, and expect people to, on their own, pick up and understand how to succeed using it. So by shifting to classes, here's class and here's a class schedule. This is a live class. We produced quite a nice delta. When I came in, we were just under $500,000 in annual revenue, our run rate. And 18 months later, we thought our goal was to do this in a year. It took 18 months because building the team took a little bit longer than 6 months. We were up to a $3.5 million run rate and created a product that was very successful, had a great reputation in the market, and highly profitable. So the choice is, do you go head-to-head? Do you compete against the multi-million-dollar marketing budgets of the industry big guys or people that have more money and are spending more or able to spend more than you can? Or do you implement a content thought leadership strategy and build search engine and social authority based on real and useful information, on meaningful stories. And frankly, I think humor works really well too. You tie that to calls to action and not direct selling. So there's the concept of touching people with the right content at the right position of where they are in the funnel. And we're not going to get into that today, but that's also very important. This all ties into that. And we'll talk about that in a future blog entry. So whether your business is birth photography or web design or financial services, you're a real estate agent, or maybe you make belts for men and women, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. I mean, I don't think, in fairness, I don't think the strategy works absolutely for everybody 100% of the time for various reasons, but it's a solid way to approach the market. And the goal with content marketing is a really good one. It's to connect with prospects and clients in real and meaningful ways. So one reasonable question would be, is content marketing new? Well, not exactly. In 1950, Walt Disney had a crazy idea. The studio, Walt Disney Productions, was only just recovering from the lean days of World War II, which almost killed them because they lost the European and Asian markets because the world was at war. So after the studio kind of bouncing back and putting a little hay in the barn, as it were, Walt decided to embark on a completely new enterprise. It was something he and the studio had no experience doing. He told everybody, I'm going to build a theme park in an orange grove in the middle of nowhere, way down in a place most people hadn't heard of called Anaheim, California. His brother, who was the financial head of the studio, said, no way, the studio's not touching this, it's too risky. And his wife thought he was crazy. Amusement parks, she said, they're filthy, and they're filled with all these sketchy characters. So what did he do? He mortgaged his house to develop the plans, drawings, and concepts. He would sell it by drawings, predominantly. And then he took the idea to the new media of the 1950s, which was television. It just come out. There was a little no-name network that was getting zero traction, had no audience. It was called ABC. And Walt, alone among all the studio magnates of the time, went onto television. And he would entertain, but more importantly, when he launched his TV show back in the 1950s, he would explain what he was doing and why. He would show people, this is the crazy idea I have. This is why it's different. This is what we're building. He even tied the physical park to aspects of the show. The various segments of the show would be tied to what would be the lands. So you might watch a program on Frontierland, Davy Crockett, or Fantasyland, maybe a Disney movie, or Tomorrowland, an exploration of space. And Walt would explain that then when you went into the park, you'd live in that land, which was paralleled from the show into the park that he was building. So this show ran in various forms on NBC, ABC, and CBS for over 50 years. And in the process, Disney became the largest media company in the world. I mean, when I did this presentation a couple of weeks ago, it was capitalized at over $160 billion. But I'm sure some of you are saying, it's not 1955 anymore. The fact is, though, you cannot fake out the search engines. The trench warfare between the search engines and the people who are trying to fake them out is real, and the search engines are going to win. They have the money and they have all the incentive in the world to make sure that real content and real connections between people and what they're searching for happen. That's what pays the bills and drives the profits of these companies. So you need to build something real. And in the end, I always think, isn't that more satisfying? It's harder, but it lasts. It's better karma, right? So let's look at just one really, I think, a really neat example. It's something that I bought, and I want you to look at how they're marketing it and what they're doing in this one single piece of content marketing.
Once in a blue moon, something comes along that works so damn well that you don't need to fuss over appearances. It reminds us that above all else, we just want something useful. Jason Fried said, "You need to get the fundamentals right. Fun wears off. Cool wears off. Useful never wears off." When we're rolling down the highway of our lives, what is it we want people to see? A rebel? A trendsetter? A man of wealth and taste? There's a funny old saying from Mark Twain that goes, "Clothes make the man. Naked people have little or no influence in society." But sometimes, designers come along who are the rebels. They remind us that above all else, we just want something that can be used.
I think that's just a terrific piece. It's showing you how this product is useful. It quotes Jason Fried, who I greatly admire, talking about the usefulness of things as opposed to cool and flashy. It quotes Mark Twain, bringing in a historical perspective. And I think it's just highly effective at, in a nice, light way, getting in touch with potential prospects for this product. It's followed by standard responsive website that does give you a little more detail on the regular belts. It talks about how they've got them for men and women. And so while there's no single cookie cutter approach, content marketing is available to any business in any market. And if you'd like to know more, or like I said, if you have any comments or questions about this presentation, give me a call. My contact information is on the screen. Thanks so much.